Good evening, I'm Meg Gatto.
And I'm Lauren McCoy. State officials are giving more insight into their plans to keep safe, drinkable water flowing to the riverside parishes.
As Maddie Kurth reports, that comes with the task of barging in millions of gallons of fresh water from the north.
A hot and dry summer in southern Louisiana brought the Mississippi River to dangerously low levels. Without a steady push of fresh water flowing into the Gulf, a wedge of denser salt water is moving upstream.
This is a serious situation.
Somewhere it doesn't belong, but has been before.
Most recently, there was a forecast in 1988.
In the 80s, the salt water reached upstream to Kenner, but a good soaking rain up north soon washed the problem away.
This event will be more severe and of longer duration.
So when will your family feel the effects? The Corps gave this updated timeline, saying the wedge could reach Belle Chase by October 13th, the St. Bernard water intake by October 19th, then Algiers on the 22nd, Gretna on the 24th, and West Jeff the next day. It's on track to arrive at the New Orleans Carrollton intake by the 28th and East Jefferson on the 29th.
Requests for assistance are likely to grow and be in place for some period of time.
The Corps will barge in 15 million gallons of fresh water collected from further upstream to mix with the intake at each water treatment plant and dilute the salt content. It also plans to build up an underwater sand barrier called a sill by 25 more feet, enough to slow the salt water by 10 to 15 days, but it's just a temporary solution.
Without significant rain in the immediate future, the augmented saltwater sill will too be overtopped.
Governor John Bel Edwards says while this is a situation to take seriously, now is not the time to overstock your family's personal water supply.
How many times did we tell people you don't need to go and stock up on toilet paper? There is not a shortage of bottled water around the state or around the country, and our businesses are going to be able to bring in water as it's needed.
And while the governor couldn't say how long the drinking water crisis would last, he promised to push for as many resources as are necessary.
I don't want to minimize the challenge, and I don't want to exaggerate it either, which is why we're going to do the very best that we can to be transparent in fact.
State health officials say people with high blood pressure, cardiovascular issues, and pregnant women will be among the most vulnerable to the intrusion. But for otherwise healthy people, no serious medical complications. Lauren?